Meeting is being started. Okay, today is chapter 16, Daiva Ashura Sampada Vibhaga Yoga. That is divine and demonic natures. So we are going to see this divine and demonic natures. Krishna is going to explain in this particular chapter. So let us pay obeisance to Sri Radha Govinda. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Nananka Shalakaya Chakshunmitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Srimad Swayam Rupa Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vintam Tam Shajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakana Vittamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhove Evacha Patitam Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Tarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So let us do a quick recap and see what we did in the last chapter. Okay, in the chapter 15. It was of the Yoga of the Supreme, where we established the Krishna as a Purushottama. Okay. So there Krishna was, with the use of analogy, that is inverted banyan tree, he was explaining to us about the material world is just a reflection of the superior spiritual world. And it had the banyan tree, and it was an inverted with the roots in the top and the branches all going down. And it was like the branches which are going down. We saw that depends on the activities of the persons. And he has come over here because of his desire. And to come out, get out of, to get released from this bondage, we have to cut the branches with the weapon of detachment and try to focus to go back to the spiritual world, where there is no return. There's no, we don't get into the cycle of birth and death. And then he talked about the transmigration depending upon our mentality, about our desires. The subtle body, we go from one body to the other, birth after birth. Okay. And then he again spoke about his spiritual world, which is from where it's always eternally blissful. And one who goes there need not come back to this material world. And then he further explains how he is maintaining the entire cosmic universe. This by the gravitational force and also the individual living entity, because he is the fire of digestion as well as the prana, the air which goes up and down, and is maintaining our body and also our mind by giving us the intelligence, memory, and the forgetfulness. And for whether you want to be remembering Krishna or you want to forget Krishna or all of it. And we need to have the knowledge. Unless we have the knowledge, we won't be able to understand this transmigration and why we need, what the goal in life is. So he is maintaining us in the body, mind, and soul. And also he talked about the infallible and fallible living entities who are liberated and he is beyond that. He is beyond all that. And And he says everything, all this knowledge is there in the Vedas. And is the confidential part of it. It says that we are so Lord is the supreme goal, and we need to follow the thing. So the activities according to Vedic rites are very auspicious. So we came to that conclusion, and then he said, when we know all this, when we understand this, then you can easily surrender to the Lord and carry out the devotional service, isn't it? So that is what we saw in the last chapter. And this chapter is also very simple. And here, what he's going to talk about is the divine qualities and the demonic qualities. So this was a distinction. He's making it the divine and demonic people. And actually, in earlier yugas and all, no, there was a clear distinction. They were not interfering with each other, the divine and demonic people, and they were living at a distance, right, and really mixed. But today, in the modern times, in the Kali Yuga, the dividing line has disappeared to the extent that both divine and demonic qualities coexist within the same individual. Okay, so this is and he says by divine qualities we can go elevate. So what are these divine qualities? So in the first verse 1 to 3, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Abhayam Sattva Samusuddhe Jnana Yoga Vyavastithahi Dhanam Damascha Yagnascha Swadayas Tapa Ajava Ahimsa Satyam Akrodas Tyagaha Santi Apaishona Daya Bhutesha Laloputvaha Martavam Achapalam Tejas Shama Drita Chaucha Hadraho Nati Manita Bhavanti Sampadam Daivam Abhijatasya Bharata. So many 26 qualities he describes. What does he say? These are the 16 divine qualities. So it is that. Then he says the people who are born of the godly tendencies, Daivim Abhijatasya. In fact, these qualities, it is something like, what you say, you can, orders of Varnashrama system, no? We have Brahmana, Sannyas, there are 4 orders, no? Brahmanas, Brahmachari, Grahastha, then Vanaprastha, then Sannyas. And we have the Brahmacharis, then Kshatriyas, then Shudras, then Vaishyas, and something. So, Brahmachari. So these are the different orders of Varnashrama system we have. And accordingly, we can see how these qualities fit them. Okay. So he says the one who is sannyas, the first quality which the God says, Supreme Personality God said, fearlessness. For whom is fearlessness? It is the sannyas. Who takes the sannyas? They are very fearless. Okay. In fact, about these divine natures, no, we saw in 9th chapter also. He had explained about devas, then demons, asuras, and all that. And then again, he talked about how in the mode of goodness, people they do auspicious activities and they go, they are in the path of liberation. That also we saw in the material modes of nature, no, in the 13th chapter. Then, so these been talking in consistently from other chapters also, but in this particular chapter, he is giving it in more detail. Okay, the Lord explains both the transcendental nature as well as the demonic nature. So he is giving what is the advantages and disadvantages of these qualities. So what is sannyas? So unless we follow this thing with willpower, determined and thing, then only we can. So sannyas is they have to be fearless. Why? How can they be fearless? They would have, that is because they have surrendered to the Lord. So when they are surrendered to Lord, they are very convinced that they are under the mercy of Krishna and they will take care of it. So normally they don't have any material wealth or anything. They would have given up everything. They are detached from the material desires, to sense gratification, and they are trying to purify their thing. So one on the top level, they would have been liberated souls, but still people who have taken up this path, they have to purify their existence by vairagya. So what are things? So they have to fearlessness and purification of one's existence. And they go, they don't have any, what I said, no, they go asking for alms from door to door, not for begging, not for they want some material goods or anything. Actually, they do go because they have to purify give the Krishna consciousness to those householders. Otherwise, householders are so busy with their own day-to-day activities, they won't have any time. So when sannyasis come, they get the grace of them, their mercies, and so they give the Krishna consciousness them. So and also it will develop humility in them when they go from one house to house. So it's not that Krishna consciousness is one. So then what is next? The cultivation of spiritual knowledge. So this is continuous for the sannyas and it is more for the brahmacharis, the cultivation of spiritual knowledge. So that is the thing for jnana yoga vyavasthita. So that is the order where they will focus on learning the Vedas, the Vedic knowledge. Then charity comes mostly for the householders because brahmacharis, sannyas and vanaprasthas, they would have given up the material work. So they don't, and they have to be maintained by the householders. And how do they maintain? They will be giving their charity. And actually, what happens when they come across saintly persons and they give charity, their heart will become softens a bit. Through charity, their heart softens and they will be able to understand this transcendental knowledge better. But people who do not give charity and all, their heart is very hard. And such people will never be able to take to Krishna consciousness. So charity is meant mostly for the householders and self-control. Self-control is also for grastas because they have to regulate, they have to live their life in a regulated manner. Everything, sex life and all the other things, they have to live in a regulated manner. Okay, charity should be in the mode of goodness, not in passion. And then study of the Vedas. Study of the Vedas, of course, is for the brahmacharis and sannyasis also. Austerity has to be maintained by people who go to vanaprastha, brahmacharis, and sannyas. Austerity of speech, body, and things. And vanaprastha is that, they would have been taken up the grasta order. See, in the beginning, there would have been a student life, then grasta. Then afterwards, the third stage is when they hand over the reins of the household to their sons, their children, and they take up vanaprastha. Well, they will focus to be, and they will follow austerity measures and be simple and all that, so that they can focus more on doing the devotional service. So that is for the tapas and austerity. Is for the retired life. They will practice austerities of body, mind, and tongue. Actually, no one will like rules and regulations and restrictions and all that. But these things help in their progress in the spiritual life. But many people know who, on the name of religion, they want to have many followers. So what do? They will relax their rules and regulations just to have many followers to them. But that will never help the followers in the path of their spiritual. Then truthfulness. Truthfulness applies to all of them, all the orders of life. Then freedom from anger. So that is something which has to be, anger is a control. You have to anger. Otherwise, we know, he will fall down into the sinful reactions. Then renunciation. Renunciation is for sannyas and think tranquility, be calm. Aversion. This is aversion to fault finding. That is something very important. In fact, we should not. This is something we have to cultivate. This knowledge, this quality. When trying to find fault in the others, we always do that. We whether we like it or not, sometimes we will consciously or not consciously we will be doing this. So that is also not a good quality to develop. Then compassion for all living entities. Then freedom from covetousness, that is greed. Then gentleness, modesty, steady determination. They have to be determined in this, to be in this spiritual path. Vigor is mostly for the Kshatriyas. They have to be courageous and all that. And forgiveness. Forgiveness is very, very good quality thing, because that will help us to control our anger. Okay, fortitude. Cleanliness is cleanliness in the body, internal as well as external. Okay. And satyam, that is truthfulness. We should not distort the truth. Okay, for some personal interest. So then another thing is freedom from envy. We should not envy others. And from the passion for honor. That we should, we want people to honor us, that is, if these divine qualities, people, they don't have, they are free from this passion for honor. So these transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. So Krishna says these are the 26 qualities which is for godly tendencies, and they will help us to do auspicious act. So he has given this list for us to understand how to do this thing, to be in this path. And these are all given in the Vedic literature and scriptures, and we need to cultivate that. Okay. Then now he proceeds to explain about the demonic qualities. Okay. So we should not think just one is distinct. But one thing we should understand, like in life, as per the law of nature, we have our own quota of happiness and quota of distress. Okay. And it is nothing that we'll have more or with less. It is been destined. So we have to accept that and to handle it, learn to handle that. So here in this verse, Krishna says, Dambo Darpo Abhimanascha Krodha Parshyam Evacha Ajnanam Chavishtasya Partha Sampadam Ashura. See, you see how this mad elephant is behaving. So what are the things, 5 qualities which will bring down us to the away from the path of liberation is arrogance, ahankar, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demonic nature or son of God. So, and he goes to explain more of this. Okay. So this is actually, if having this is like having the royal road to think. Devi sampada vimokshasya vibandya ashuri mata ma sucha sampadam daiva abhijatu sa pandava. So what he says here is the transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demonic qualities make for bondage. And it tells Arjuna, do not worry, your son of Pandu, for you are born with the divine qualities. Okay. So this is what happens. If you follow the transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas demonic qualities make for bondage. But if you want to cultivate, we can do it. It depends on our willpower, determination, and think we can cultivate. It's all in our hands. So now it tells Arjuna, you don't worry, you're born with divine qualities. O son of Pritha. In this world, there are 2 kinds of created beings. One is called the divine being, divine, and another demonic. I've already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demonic. So he is going to explain more about this qualities. Okay. Pravirtam cha nivritam cha nana janaha na vidur ashuraha na shaucham napi shacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. So those who are demonic do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. So now he's giving more explanation into their nature, that they don't know what to do and what is not to be done, and neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found. They take to all sorts of illicit things. Okay. And also, asatyam aprasthitam te jagat ahur anishwaram aparashvara sambhutam kim anyat kama haritukam. They say that this world is unreal, that there is no foundation and there is no God in control. It is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So this is the case of proud atheist. Okay, he thinks he's very learned and all that, and there is no God, no God. They don't believe in that, and is in control. They think is everything produced by sex desire only. Because of sex desire, we have children and we go from birth and birth. It's all from us, and there's no, and they don't think there's any foundation. They think they're too learned and they know everything. They know everything, and that's how they behave. And also, they will also misguide others also. These atheist people, because they are very proud. Okay, and they will misguide people also. And this is their philosophy, that everything is produced by sex desire and there's no cause other than lust. And what do they do? How do they end up? Following such conclusions, the demonics who are lost to themselves and have no intelligence, they will engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Because they are so bent upon that, they are very demonic and they are very harmful to the others. They will not only misguide them, they will also engage in unbeneficial, horrible works. Okay, that is what they'll come to that conclusion. And what do? Demonic people, they will take shelter of insatiable lust, pride, and false prestige. So there you have all these qualities in them. Illicit relationship, gambling, intoxication, meat eating, and they will be sworn to unclean work. They are attracted by the impermanent. They say, anyway, we are going to die, and the thing, why not enjoy and the thing? And they will don't mind to go down to any length for their sense gratification. Okay, this is how their mentality is and their attitude. Okay, and they believe now that to gratify the senses unto the end of life is the prime necessity of human civilization. So because of that, their desires will keep on increasing and they will not, they won't go on and on, and endeavor will be there for fulfilling their sense gratification. So there is no end to their anxiety because they'll always be anxious. They'll always be hankering for something or the other. So being bound by hundreds and thousands of desires, by lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. And because of their desires, they get so much of attachment and to their lust. We saw the cycle. And if they are frustrated because the desires are not satisfied, they'll get into anger mode, and they will try to get money by illegal means for sense gratification. So this is their mentality. They think the prime necessity of human civilization is gratifying their senses. Okay, and their attitude is on lust, pride, and frustration. And also what they think, here Krishna says the demonic person thinks, so much wealth I have today, I will gain more according to my schemes. Okay, he'll have scheme of the other because he is only focused on getting more and more wealth. So much is mine now and it will increase in the future more and more. And whoever is my enemy, I have killed him, and my other enemy will also be killed. So he will try to see war all in his path, or they are in enemies, he will try to get them killed. I am the Lord. That way he won't have anyone to oppose him. And he says, I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect. I am powerful. I am happy. I am the richest man. So I am surrounded by aristocratic relatives. So these are the things they are in that illusion. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices only to show off and give some charity. And he thinks by doing some charity and sacrifice, he can balance his impious activities. And thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. So Krishna says in these verses that this is how their thinking is, the way they work. And we have a lot of examples in the scriptures, isn't it? Here we have Hiranyakashipu, who thinks he had gone the benediction from Brahma, no, Lord Brahma, that he had asked, no, he wanted to be free from death. And Brahmaji says, even I am not, when I am myself not free from death, how can I give you that benediction? Then he will ask for so many things, that he should not be die in the morning nor in the night. He should not die inside the house or outside the house. He should not die by any weapons, and he should not be. So many lists he will give, and finally he will get killed by Lord Krishna, Narasimhadev, isn't it? Here you see him, no, he's pushing off his own son. He'll ask, what is the thing, what you have learned in the school, in the Gurukul. Then Prahalad says, I learned that the Supreme Lord of the whole of this cause of everything, he is the Lord Krishna, Lord Narayana. And he wonders how he got such a thing, and he is so unhappy, and he's trying to push off, and later he will try to kill. So he thinks for him it was the wealth and power was the main thing, and he was so ahankar. And here we see Kamsa, no? The minute he got the hearing from the thing, Akashvani, that he'll be killed by Devaki's son, 8th son, he will go down to even to kill his own sister. And this is Ravana, who tries to kidnap another man's wife, Sita Devi. So these are the demonic people who are think this is that they are the Lord of everything. They have come here to enjoy, and they're perfect, powerful, and no one. And if there's enemy, they will try to kill them and try to be more powerful. So why they do that? They don't believe in the law of karma. So that's the reason. The basic thing is they don't believe in the law of karma. So thus, perplexed by various entities and bound by a network of illusions, one becomes too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down in hell. So Krishna says, because of this mentality and their ignorance, they are perplexed by various anxieties, and they are strongly attached to sense enjoyment, and hence they fall. So there's a moha jala. They get into that web. Okay. So, and this is avidhi purvakam. So they are not following the scriptures. So that is against the law of nature, right? So they will fall down into hell. And bewildered by false ego, ahankar, and strength, they think they're very powerful. Pride, the thing, lust and anger, the demon becomes envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they won't think that God is who is situated in his own body and in the bodies of others, and blasphemies against the real religion. So what do? They will not follow the rules and regulations, and they think that they are envious of the Supreme Personality of God. They can't think that they can be a Lord who is much more powerful than him and cause of everything. So they want to control. So this is and they are been under illusion. So those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demonic species of life. So what do they end up with? Finally, because they do not follow the Vedic scriptures, so they are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demonic species of life. Okay, that's what they will end up with. That is, they can't, for them, liberation is not possible. They will go down to they will fall, destiny will be to the lower species, to the demonic species. Attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demonic life, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. So what is that? That will be destiny. Because their attitudes and behavior, that will destroy the spirituality. So they don't go towards the Krishna. So Trividam Naraka Sedam Dvaram Nashanam Atmanaha Kama Krodha Tata Lobha. Kama Krodha Tata Lobha. See, this is what Krishna keeps telling. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, we are hearing this. Lest, lust, anger, and greed. Kama, krodha, and tata loga. Tasmat, etat trayam tyajat. So there are three gates leading to this hell. What are the three gates? Lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give this up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. So the basic reason why they fall into such demonic that inauspicious activities is this is a root cause, the lust, anger, and greed. So we have to not fall into such thing. That is the reason why that will lead us to the degradation of the soul. So how do we come out of it? The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. So this is how we can escape. Ya shastra vidim mustrishyah vartate kama kartaha nasa siddhim avapnoti na sukam na param gati. But he who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. So they will never, they don't follow the scriptures. They think it is useless and their life is only meant for sense gratification. So why our whims are not perfect? Because we don't follow the scriptures. So Maya will trouble us with the threefold miseries. I have talked about these threefold miseries. That is Adi Deva, Adi Bhuta, Adi Atma. That is our own mind and the diseases we get from our body and the mind and from other living entities. And also we can get miseries from the Devas. No, that is the natural calamities and all that. So threefold miseries will never be, and Maya will always trouble us with that. So we have to follow the scriptural injunctions and not act as our own whim, thinking what like the atheist thinks, no, that there is no God in control and all that, and he is puffed up by his thing. So tasmat, therefore, shastram pramanam te karya vyavastithau natva shastra vidanoktam karma kartam hirasi. So what he says, one should understand what is duty, what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that we may gradually be elevated. And who can help us? A spiritual master. If you take the guidance from the spiritual master, he will help us to understand the scriptures and to understand what is our duty and what is not duty. And we can act upon that. So this is what he concludes, that we should follow the scriptures of the Vedas. Okay. And how we can do? We can do that by our willpower, determination, and activities in this life can significantly alter the nature. So it is up to us. Maybe we have come from what are the previous karma, that we can change by the activities by this world. How we can attain liberation, he has told the divine qualities which will help us to act for self-realization. And how do we do that? We should follow the scriptures and we should escape the gates. The gates are there, three, the lust, anger, and lobha. Okay. But if you reject the scriptures and act whimsically as you want and think that material sense gratification is the goal of life, then you'll be miserable and you get great ways. And who are they? They are the demonic nature. Okay, so when you understand a distinct thing, then we can see, we can take advantage and learn the thing. So chapter 15 says that Vedas have all the rules and regulations, and that will help us in gradual purification and ultimate perfection. So we have to take the shelter of Vedic scriptures, and that's what for self-realization. Okay, then only we get liberation. So this is what was all the thing which Krishna talked about. So what is the importance of the Vedic scriptures and how, and he explained clearly divine and demonic qualities. This is a very short chapter. And the 3 gates to hell, that is easy to understand. No? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, which are the gates to hell, which will lead us to develop the demonic qualities and do imposting. Then what are the prescribed duties? They are given. So if you have a regulated lifestyle, can easily transform selfishness to selflessness, lust to love, and quarrel into cooperation. So regulated life, simple living and high thinking, that will help us in developing the qualities. And Srila Prabhupada says, one's greatness has to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate provoking situations. Normally, we cannot understand our own nature. Only when some crisis comes, like now when this corona case, there are so many people are put into so many problems, isn't it? Because you all have to be in lockdown, you're inside the house. Until then, you won't know that all your angers, you thought you'll be very peace and calm and things. But all such interactions, only when you have such crises or provoking situations, only will you understand what our nature is, our true nature. Okay. And we can understand ourselves. Only when you understand yourself, you can think of cultivating these type of qualities. So regulated lifestyle can easily transform selfishness to selflessness, lust to love, and quarrel into cooperation. So with this, I close this chapter. It's actually a very short one and very simple to understand. And for more detailed thing, the only suggestion I can give is to enroll for level 2. And that will be shortly giving you the link. Okay, no problem. Hare Krishna. Pancha kalpatru abhyascha kripa sindhyeva cha patitam nam pavnebhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I hope you all are chanting, and then I wish you all to be happy.